One thing that overshadows a lot of things at the moment is certainly most favored nation, right? We at Simon-Kucher are following this since roughly 2019, 2020, when the first Trump administration announced that they were thinking about MFN, so the introduction of international reference pricing in the US. But again, now this has really led to a potentially seismic shift for the industry. Since then, there were a lot of developments, sending out letters to big pharma companies, the introduction of the generous model for Medicaid, Globe and Guard for Medicare, Part B and Part D products. We see now that the genie is likely out of the bottle, that it's potentially not only affecting the 17 companies that have signed deals with the Trump administration for new innovative products that are launched, but also it potentially affects even mid-sized and small biotech companies. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily about growth opportunities. It's about managing risk in that context, right? Thinking about MFN, you need to keep in mind that roughly 60 to 70% of a product's revenue, a new innovative pharmaceutical product's revenue, is generated in the US. Only 20% of the revenue is generated in the EU5 plus Japan, and that already shows you the imbalance that there is in the market. And again, if now international reference pricing is introduced, this might lead to a situation that companies really decide to launch products ex-US with a certain delay until price levels in ex-US markets are reachable, or that innovative pharmaceuticals are not launched. And now we need to see how this all plays out, right? The Trump administration has in mind there is a global price rebalancing, meaning that other countries outside of the US need to pay significantly more for pharmaceuticals, and prices in the US go a little bit down. So that is meant by the global price rebalancing, but we really need to see if other countries are able and willing to pay significantly higher prices for pharmaceuticals. Looking forward, of course, companies need to really see that there's much more interdependence between pricing decisions that they take in the US and pricing decisions that they take ex-US, right? So again, formerly, companies were executing pricing research also more or less separately between the US and ex-US, and now due to the interconnectivity with international reference pricing, companies need to really look at this globally and ideally need to execute those strategies or the development of the strategies in parallel. We'll also see a much bigger connection between list and net price management, much narrower pricing corridors worldwide. Of course, also companies need to really think about how to achieve higher prices for their products moving forward ex-US. That means how to enhance the value of the product. That means potentially thinking about archetypes of products to really think what products really are breakthrough products in high unmet need areas. Where can I potentially really push the envelope when it comes to pricing and make more similar rebalanced prices achievable outside of the US? And ultimately, of course, also thinking about new innovative approaches. If a product can be launched, is it potentially more suitable for certain patient subpopulations? How can innovative payment models be used in a smart way? Is private health insurance or out-of-pocket payment an option for the company, and so forth? So there's a lot of challenges up ahead, especially when a company wants to market products ex-US. Also, of course, there needs to be the political will to pay higher prices for pharmaceuticals ex-US. But of course, there's also opportunities for those companies that do it right. And specifically also when you're thinking about launch sequencing in the future, right? Companies need to really think about how do they cluster countries. Which markets influence a potential MFN price, which markets potentially indirectly influence that, and which countries are isolated from an MFN perspective. So potentially we'll also see completely new launch sequences moving forward. Countries like China, like the GCC countries, Latin America, Brazil might be much earlier in launch sequences moving forward than countries that we have seen traditionally launching products first. MFN means that prices are referenced on a net price level, net price GDP, PPP adjusted. And of course, I mean, if markets like Germany, France, Italy, and so forth in the future will need to pay higher prices, potentially this might indirectly also influence low to middle income countries where potentially also higher prices need to be achieved moving forward, unfortunately. For me, it's quite easy, right? Or for the pharmaceutical and biotech industry, it's MFN, MFN, and MFN, because again, it's having so much impact on how the industry will work moving forward.